Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday. It is just afternoon in California, so Pacific Standard Time. So, of course, that means it is time for Monday Market Update. Jennifer Tim with the welcome. Oh my gosh, it's Monday. Welcome home, Global Group. And let's get right to it. We have, as usual, lots of information to share with you. Okay, so January 30th. Can you believe it's the last Monday of January in 2023 already? And boy, has it been an interesting month in real estate. Question for today: are home prices falling? I've got buyers asking every single day, should they wait? Are these home prices going to come crashing down? Should they wait for the bargain? Well, let's have a look at what's happening nationally. New housing data suggests the market slowdown is ending. So this was an article in the National Association of Realtors online magazine, and it really focuses in on the December housing data because that's what's just recently been released. And it does show that pending home sales rose 2.5% in December. And that ends a 6-month period of where we just saw declining sales. So that's a good indication that the market is increasing and improving. Nice little graphic that shows you what that index looks like in various parts of the country. So in the West, we've seen a 6.4% increase month over month. The Midwest is actually down, and part of that is just winter at this point in time. Northeast, we've seen a decrease as well, 6.5%, but in the South, again, an increase of 6.1%. So the warmer areas, those that are not totally snowed in and freezing. I have a family member in Wyoming, and oh my gosh, it is cold there at the moment. I can understand why buyers are not out shopping. It's just too cold to do anything. But definitely in the warmer areas, we are starting to see the buyers are coming out. They are applying for those mortgages because we know that mortgage applications are up, and they're putting properties into escrow. So it is a positive. It's definitely good for buyers and sellers. Part of that is because, and this is just the headline, it's because the interest rates are starting to come down. So remember, we peaked at over 7% in October of 2022. Well, we are ever so slowly inching down. And as always, we'll show you what you can get from some of our local lenders. This is a really important thing to be aware of. So our largest home buying sector are our millennials. They are the largest group of potential home buyers we have ever had historically. And 92% of millennial home buyers, so this was from CNBC, say inflation has impacted their purchase plans, but most are plowing ahead anyway, the study shows. So millennials, these are roughly 27 to 42 and in their prime home buying years. And while the combination of high home prices and rising interest rates has caused affordability issues for many buyers, the situation is gradually improving. And definitely our millennials are the ones who are making the move. So the median price for existing home was $366 in December, just 2.3% higher than a year earlier, and a drop from $416,000, which was recorded in last June. So again, it comes back to that affordability. Interest rates are coming down. Millennials are doing well with their earning capacity, and they are positive about actually going ahead with their home buying plans. So this is how this report came out. It said 59% are saving more for a home. So again, this is what inflation has done for them. Instead of jumping into the home buying, they pulled back a little bit and they're saving more for a home. 36% are planning to spend more than expected. So they are very aware of what's going on in the market, and they do realize it'll cost a little more to get what they want, but they're willing to make the sacrifices now, the financial sacrifices, save up so that they can get the better property that's going to meet their needs. 28% are delaying plans. 26% are buying a fixer-upper. And that's good to see that there are some millennials who are not taken in by the HGTV. The house has got to look like a model home, even if it's 50, 60 years old. And then 25% are buying a smaller home. How are they saving for that down payment? Because we know that our millennials need to come in with good credit scores. They need a decent down payment to get the property that they want and get the mortgage rate that makes sense. So 50% are saving a portion of every paycheck. So they're showing great financial discipline in order to do that. 45% are cutting back on non-essential spending. And we're starting to see that just with consumer traits and practices right now. 38% are finding an additional source of income. And that is so true. If you think about the millennials that you know in your life, how many of them have a side hustle? Such a great idea so that they can then bring in that additional income to fund their home buying choices. 32% are finding a higher earning job. 24% are moving in with family. We had one of those and moved back with us for a little period of time, really enabled him to save a lot of money so that this next chapter is going to be on a little more secure of a financial footing. 21% are investing and 13% are not paying other bills and going into debt. Thank goodness that is the lowest percentage. We certainly don't need millennials to get into that difficult situation. So what is happening with the mortgage rates? So it really is hard to predict exactly where they're going to go, but we're definitely seeing this, for those that are more qualified to have a crystal ball, they're all talking about this range. 5% or 6% may be the new normal for mortgage rates. It's impossible to predict exactly where we're going to go. However, we do know that we're not going to see those below 3% or even potentially the 4% in the foreseeable future, if ever again. So for buyers who are waiting for that magical, below 3%, it's not going to happen. It's time to sort of reconcile yourself to where interest rates are going to be, and this is the new normal. Remember that those super low rates were emergency actions that were taken by the Federal Reserve. And hopefully we are never, ever, ever in that global situation again, where the Feds feel that they have to do that just to prop up the economy. So the 5-6% is great. Historic average for interest rates across decades is 7%. Coming in below that is absolutely good news for our buyers. We also know that houses are still selling quickly. So again, we've still got that situation of low inventory. Because of that, last month we had a 2.9 month supply of homes, and we really need a supply that's 4 to 5 months. Some people say 4, some people say 6, but we really need a more balanced market, which means we're going to have some more inventory. There just isn't enough inventory in the marketplace, and that quote is from Mr. Yoon, who is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. So even with the housing slowdown, days on market are still less than a month. That implies that people in the market to buy are finding a listing they want and snatching it up quickly. Now, again, a balanced market is going to be 60 to 90, no, it's going to be 90 to 120 days that a property is on the market, and we're still seeing a lot less than that. Some of our local coastal areas, because we've got higher prices, are going to be a little longer than that, and we will look at those towards the end of our presentation. So to answer the question of are home prices falling? So if we have a look at this graph, so this is median price of existing home sales. Now this is a national snapshot, and this I got at on Friday. So again, it's from the National Association of Realtors. So if we have a look from June of 2022 to December of 2022, absolutely, we saw a drop. So again, it's a negative 1% month over month and a negative 11% since June of 2022. Now, you've got to remember where we were in June of 2022. This has been after a couple of years of historically low interest rates where, prices were just, 20, 30 offers on a property, buyers having to come in hundreds of thousands over asking just to have their offer looked at. Sellers totally setting the tone for those transactions. They didn't have to, buyers could not even consider putting any contingencies in there, and it was totally out of control. So yes, since the mortgage rate increases, we have seen a decrease, but the net result for 2022 was an appreciation rate of 2.3%. And we're starting to see this leveling off. So yes, because we saw this, massive increase. I mean, look at this, when the beginning of 2022 looked like it was going to be another totally out of control situation for sellers. We saw those interest rates starting to temper that demand because of affordability, and now it's starting to level off. But this is the big one down here. So below our, crazy upward, here we go. Look at that over time. So since June of 2019, so that's pre-pandemic, where, we already knew that we had a lack of inventory. So we already had this demand that was outstripping supply, and that's what was pushing that. And that's still, it doesn't matter what kind of market you're in. If you don't have enough inventory and there is latent demand, you're still going to outstrip. And because of that, your prices are going to go up. So if you look at that number, a positive 29% appreciation from June 2019 through December 2022. This is the reason why we are not going to see a massive flood of home short sales foreclosures hitting the market, because most homeowners have that 29% worth of equity sitting in their homes, and they don't need to do that. They're able to sell, they're able to take care of things if there's a financial situation for that family, and they can no longer afford to stay in that home and they need to sell. They've got equity. So that answer to the question, are home prices falling? Yes, they are, but not so that we're going to see this massive flood. It's not going to be 2008. It's not going to be a repeat of 2013. Positive 29% appreciation since 2019. That is the number that I want you to keep in mind. And buyers, this is so important to understand. So if you're waiting for the market to crash before you get into home buying, you're going to miss out, because we're already starting to see the market picking up, and we're already starting to see those price reductions leveling off in some communities, and we're even starting to see the prices climbing again, because overall for 2022, there was still an appreciation rate of 2.3% nationally. Big one. Really, really important one. So price reductions, talking about that. So 30 to 33% is normal. This is where we are. We're this kind of burgundy line. Price cuts show seasonal demand, so 34.7%. So we're maybe a little higher, but we're already seeing that, those price reductions in some markets are slowing down, because most sellers are actually coming onto the market where they should be. They're realizing if the property around the corner has been languishing on the market for any period of time, basically longer than a month or two, then you know what? The buyers have rejected that price. So those sellers are coming onto the market at a more realistic listing price. Now, again, remember, they've got that 29% appreciation over time anyway, so they can afford to come in where they should. Because again, what is market value? Market value is how much a buyer is willing to pay and a seller is willing to accept. So that's what defines what that market value is. Pending contracts per week, we're starting to see that this is coming up. And this is important as well. So forget about the people out there who are saying, the pundits who on TikTok or wherever, who are saying, no, the market's about to crash and buyers have gone away and the demand is gone. That is absolutely not the case. And I will also mention that more and more sellers are starting to reach out to agents They're asking for assistance to understand the market, where they are, what their options are, and what they should realistically put their home on the market for. Part of that is because the interest rates are coming down. And so, because most sellers end up being a buyer for their next home, they also didn't want to enter this market when the interest rates were over 7. But now that those interest rates are coming down, that latent motivation, or that motivation in the background to sell their home and do whatever they need to do next, is becoming more of a reality. So we have more sellers who are starting to get engaged with the market again. So we're seeing right over here that our new pendings, that we're increasing. So more and more buyers are going into escrow. Demand and mortgage rate, I think this is a good one as well. That kind of gives you an idea. So we have here our, this is where we're sitting at the moment. So this was Friday. The 30-year fixed rate was sitting at 6.18%. And, that's when we kind of peaked earlier, and our demand is starting to come up as well. Now, Goldman Sachs did release a report recently that said that, there's going to be a huge decrease in demand, and that the property market is going to be reduced dramatically. We're just not seeing that currently, not by the current activity of buyers, not by the current applications for mortgages that are being filed. We know that the buyers are back and getting engaged and finding properties, and properties are going into escrow. So it is definitely, here's this demand. The demand is coming up. It is definitely up. So that is great news for buyers, and that's great news for sellers. So 2 important things basically nationally that we'll be looking out for this week. So the next Fed meeting takes place on Wednesday, and it is expected that there'll be a 25 basis point increase in the federal funds rate. Now, a lot of the mortgage experts have said that mortgage rates have already absorbed these increases, so we'll have to wait and see how the 10-year Treasury responds, because normally mortgage rates are in line with the 10-year Treasury. The next report that comes out on Friday is our key employment report, and this is the number of jobs, unemployment rate, wage inflation, so we'll see how that impacts our rates going into next week. Locally, what are we seeing? So as I mentioned, it is essential when you are a buyer, or even when you're a seller and need to buy, but even just for sellers who are selling and, maybe they've already got somewhere else they need to go, it is really important to understand what the current mortgage rates are that are being offered. And as you can see in Orange County, this is Wells Fargo. This is for their jumbo loans. 30-year fix, we're sitting in the 5s. And if you start looking at your adjustable rate mortgages, of course, that's, you've got some different options there. Very, very important. Of course, this is just that ideal situation. You need to sit down with a loan specialist, understand exactly where you sit. A lot of this is going to depend on what your credit score is. So it is absolutely essential to know what that is, and have a look at what you're going to put down as a down payment. So it really is, your rate will be customized depending on what you look like as a borrower. This is from United American, another one of our lenders in the area. So their fixed rate is just a little bit higher, but there your options are as well. So we're seeing great rates that are below the Fed rate of 6.1, 6.13. Got to shop around. If you need an introduction to a lender, please, please, please reach out. We would be so honored to introduce you to lenders who we know will take the best care of you. And of course, the choice is ultimately yours. So how is our local market in Orange County? How is it responding? Are we following the national trends? And yes, as of last Monday's report from Stephen Thomas, Reports on Housing, turning up the heat. So that means that we are starting to come back again in Orange County as well. So here we have just an idea of what the winter market is typically like. So last year we saw an inventory rise from mid-January to mid-March of 44%. The demand raised 60%. So again, demand always seems to be outstripping our inventory. And that, of course, led to market time drop that just, we started out the year with unbelievably hot, insane market. Now, let's look at the 3-year average, because that's much better. We've really have been in this crazy COVID market. So we need to have a look at what it looked like before COVID. So typically we see inventory rising 12% from mid-January to mid-March. We're waiting to see how those figures come in this year. We normally see demand increasing. So again, our demand always seems to outstrip our inventory, and then our market time will drop accordingly based on that. So that's what we're looking for. These are the indicators that we're looking for. So we do know, as of the report that came out last week, our active inventory, so our active listings, it's slowly getting there. We're ever so slowly increasing, and we're starting to see it, just in a matter of a week. We're definitely seeing more. And of course, we'll have an updated report coming out next week for Orange County. And if you need the numbers for your neighborhood, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will be looking at our 4 cities after we've looked at Orange County as a whole. So we're starting all the way down here. This was 2021 listings. So remember, right in the midst of COVID, lots of people were hesitant to sell because of COVID. That's no longer the situation. Now it's been the interest rates that have been causing concern for sellers not wanting to have to take on a higher mortgage rate. So let's see what happens this year. Our demand has increased in the past couple of weeks. So buyers are out shopping. They have found properties that meet their needs, and they have gone into escrow. So we know that our buyers are back. It's just going to be, how fast is that demand going to increase? It's going to be tempered by the interest rates. Again, we're not going to see, the green line was 2020. This is when those extraordinary interest rates were introduced to bolster the market. Of course, 2020, beginning of that was when real estate, everybody was on lockdown. We couldn't even, it was hard to do anything with your real estate. Once things kind of got organized and figured out and how we could do showing safely, that's when everything started picking up again, coupled with historically once in a lifetime low interest rates. That's why this green line just had that totally atypical trend, but we're here. So let's see what happens with our demand. But we know, I'm just talking anecdotally, that buyers are back, they're looking, they're shopping, and they're going into escrow. So this is a summary of, where things are right now, the speed of the market. So based on your sort of average price. So if we sort of look in this median, we're talking about market days of 72 days. Of course, anything under $1 million is still going to sell pretty fast. We just don't have a lot of those. As you can see, everything is so low right now in our market. What we are starting to see is, our higher end properties, those are now slowing down. You can see last year expected market time for a property over 6 million was 144 days. We're now sitting at 882 days. So the luxury market has absolutely slowed down. This market right over here in the middle is what our bread and butter is. That's the majority of our properties. And that's what we're starting to see is coming down to a little more reasonable time period. And as demand increases, we'll see that expected market time decreasing. Just a quick snapshot again from December and again from the reports on housing to give you an idea of sales to list price ratio. So just pulling up Dana Point, we're still sitting at 93% of sold to list price. Laguna Beach, 100%. So Laguna Beach listings they've gone through the period of price reductions. We'll look at that in the more detailed info. Those that are selling, and it's in this price range, if you look at our medians right over here for the prices that are selling, they're selling right at those list prices. San Clemente, we're sitting at 96%. Again, you can see where those median sales are happening. It's not as many of those higher end listings anymore. It's right kind of that, as I say, the bread and butter of our neighborhoods. And then San Juan Capistrano is 97%. Now, individual neighborhoods may be a lot higher. So Talega is listed, for example, 98% of list price. And again, it's the list price to sold. So it's those properties that have actually gone into escrow. It's not, it doesn't take into, we're not looking at those properties that are languishing on the market right now. So specifically, let's have a look at Dana Point. So Dana Point, we are, our median price of new listings is 2.1 million. So we're kind of seeing that, and again, this little graph shows us where we're sitting with those prices. Our median days on market is 77. So a comfortable time period for buyers and sellers. Price decreases, we're still seeing some of the properties that have been languishing on the market. The sellers are making the necessary adjustments, and our inventory is 38. Not a lot of properties. Because of that, we've got demand. We're still sitting in that slight seller's advantage because we don't have as many homes as we have buyers out there. But again, look at what is actually selling, the price point that's selling. Laguna Beach, median list price 3.9 million, median price of new listings. Again, that goes back to that 100%. We're sitting pretty close to that. Median days on market, 126 days. Again, it's because those are higher priced properties. Your buyer pool is smaller. 32% of the properties that have price decreases, and our inventory is sitting at 69. So still a slight seller's advantage in Laguna Beach. San Clemente, median list price 1.9, median price of new listings. So we have some slightly higher ones coming on, as you can see from our little trending graph here. Our median days on market 81. Our price decrease 48. Again, sellers are making the necessary adjustments, and the inventory is 62. Such low inventory. Still every time I look at these, it just blows my mind at how few choices are on the market for buyers right now, which is why they are looking, instead of maybe looking just in San Clemente, they may be looking at a much broader geographic area to find the property that they're looking for. San Juan Capistrano, median list price 2 million, median price of new listings 2.8, median days on market 35. This still, San Juan Capistrano throughout this period has still remained our strongest market for sellers because of the prices, the choices. The sellers are definitely doing what's necessary. They're coming on at the right prices for what buyers are looking for. And we still, even though we saw a little increase in inventory, we're still only sitting with 41 properties on the market in San Juan Capistrano, and it's our strong sellers market. So bottom line, are home prices falling? Yes, slightly. Are they going to crash? No, we still have positive appreciation in the majority of our communities. So just that warning for sellers, if you're holding out for the spring market because you're thinking you're going to get a super quick sale and you're going to have this crazy price, war that goes on, it's not going to happen. It's absolutely not going to happen. You've got to make sure that you come onto the market based on how your home compares to those that have recently gone into escrow. Even looking at solds is sometimes just too far back in the rearview mirror. You need to look at those pending sales, and you need to look at the current inventory and figure out what today's buyers have rejected, because you need to get your property priced absolutely correctly for location condition based on the current, and just, pricing ahead of the market, knowing where the market is going. Warning for the buyers, lowball offers, not going to happen. We're still seeing multiple offers where prices, sellers have priced their homes correctly, because we still do not have enough homes for the buyers who are qualified and out there. We are not going to have distressed sellers, foreclosures, short sales. They're just not going to exist in our market. So buyers, If now is the time for you to get into the market, get in now, because the competition is only going to increase as we go into our spring market, and there's even more buyers looking for that limited inventory. So you want to get in now and get ahead of some of the, the chaos that's going to come in the next couple of weeks. So just a reminder of the services that we offer. So the Welcome Home Global Group is absolutely passionate about providing you with information so that you can make informed decisions. So as real estate planners, we offer a number of tools. Here's just 10 of them that we do. It's all about empowering you to make the right decisions for you and your family. And of course, my favorite one down at the bottom is the Family Feud Prevention Plan. Always have to say that slowly on a Monday, because remember, if you're trying to build up a legacy in real estate to leave to your family members, just remember that one house can't really be divided between multiple people. So make sure your plan is going to accommodate everyone who's going to benefit, and you're not going to leave a legacy of your beneficiaries ending up in court fighting because they're not on the same page. So we never want to leave that kind of legacy, do we? It's all about a positive legacy. If there's any questions that we can answer, any information you'd like, specifics about your neighborhood, your home, absolutely reach out. This is what we are passionate about doing, is empowering you to make the right decisions. With that, stay dry, stay warm. It's certainly been a chilly, wet January. Can't complain about the rain, but gosh, I'm so ready for some slightly warmer weather for a period of time. And then we want the rain to come back again. But have a fantastic week and enjoy the last few days of January, and let's welcome February. Have a great week. See you next time.